Hi everybody and welcome back. My name's Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. This is lesson 9 part 1 of my 1 to 10 piano course videos. I've split lesson 9 into 3 parts just because I think if I put lesson 9 into one whole video it would just be the longest video in the world and it would just be really complicated to do. So I've split it into 3 different parts. It is all one lesson in the book, but I've just split the video into 3 different parts, so you're not actually hearing my voice constantly for the next 2 hours, otherwise you'll get so bored of my voice talking. So lesson 9 part 1, we're going to be going through playing hands together. So there's a couple of exercises in there that I'll be going through. Lesson 9 part 2 is where we introduce rests and ties and go through a couple of exercises. And lesson 9 part 3 is where we're introducing some sharps and flats and naturals, and then we go into more exercises. So the book that I've been using is the book in the background. It's 100% downloadable and printable anywhere you are in the world. I've written the book myself. I've written it specifically for these YouTube videos, plus I use it for all my students at home, so I know it's tried and tested and it works really well. You can buy it from this website coming up above me now, or in the description link underneath. I'll put a link to the video down below. I'll put a link to the website where you can buy it down below. Let's move on to lesson 9 part 1. So now we move on to lesson 9, playing hands together. So I think it's time that we tried some simple hands together. The other couple of lessons, lesson 8, or the 8 exercises from lesson 7 and the 8 exercises from lesson 8, they've just been playing hands separately, so we haven't put anything together yet. They've just been introducing basic rhythms, and then in lesson 8 the exercises were actually introducing quaver or eighth notes into the mix, but still nothing's been played together. So make sure that you're comfortable with all the other 16 exercises before attempting the ones on the next page. You just need to make sure you're confident in knowing the note values, counting in time with your playing, and just ensuring that you're holding each note for the correct amount of time as well, and thus getting the rhythm perfect, and that you know where the notes on the piano without having to think too much. So have a go at the next 10 exercises where we're now putting hands together. They are still very simple, so don't be put off by the looks of them, and they do sort of get progressively harder as well. So, you know, like I said, learning the piano isn't going to be an easy job, and it isn't an overnight job as well, but just don't be put off by some of the pieces that you're looking at in here, for example, and thinking, my goodness, that looks really complicated. Remember, you're still kind of learning at this, so even though it might look really complicated, I promise you it's not complicated. You can go as fast and as slow as you like, and you don't have to play hands together immediately. You can just get hang of the right hand on its own, and then you can just get the hang of the left hand on its own as well before you put the two together. So the beauty of these videos is that you learn at your own pace. You're not learning at anybody else's pace but yours. So if it takes you a week to get hold of exercise 8, then you know what? It's going to take you a week, and that's absolutely fine. So moving on to exercise 1 that we've got here, starting nice and simple, but we're just playing hands together. So we know that hands together, or anything hands together, is that the notes are going to be on top of each other or in the same line as each other. So the right hand C comes at exactly the same time as the E that I've got to play in the left hand. Therefore, I know that they are coming slap bang together in the music. So I'm still in the same hand position as I have been, and I will be all the way throughout this book, and I'm going to play these hands together. We're exercise 1, page 27, and I'm not going to count out loud. I'm just going to play it so you can hear what it sounds like. Moving on to exercise 2 on page 28. So now we move on to exercise 3 on page 29, and what you'll notice is that in the right hand there are 2 notes that are piled on top of each other, which are a C and an E. So it's really simple. Just look at the explanation that I've put where the red arrow is. You're going to be playing those 2 together at the same time. So in the right hand you've got a C and an E that are on top of each other. It's no different than if you played the right hand and the left hand together. They're both in the same line. So it's going to, so using the correct fingering, the C and the E, so that's what it's going to look like. So this might take a little bit of practice, but they are kind of all in a line. So as long as you don't go, don't want to do that. Follow the same fingering where you had 1 on C, 2 on D, 3 on E, 4 on F and 5 on G. So C and E, C on E, F and D are the next 2 fingers, E and G are the next 2 fingers. So it does actually travel up quite nicely. I might advise at exercise 3 that you just play the right hand separately and that you just play the left hand separately, just to get the hang of it, and then you can put them both together and see how you get on. I'm just going to go straight in and play it both hands together so you can see and hear what it sounds like. So this is exercise 3, page 29. So thanks very much for watching lesson 9 part 1. Do join me in lesson 9 part 2 where we'll be going on to rests and ties. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you're enjoying these courses and you're learning lots. Do subscribe to my channel, thumbs up the video, and I'll see you in lesson 9 part 2.